Angela Davis is a single mother of 3 who was laid off from her bartending job at Polcari's in Woburn at the onset of the pandemic.
I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not even gonna be having a dollar coming in. Never mind going through my bank account to figure out anything. Like, you need food, you need necessities. Never mind paying your rent and paying your bills. My TV shuts off. Like, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about feeding my kids.
After a couple of weeks, Davis returned to work to help with takeout and to try to secure her job. Eventually, she started serving again, but to a much smaller crowd.
We went from high volume all the time in these big parties to 25% capacity when we did reopen.
That reduced income wasn't enough to pay her landlord for the 3-bedroom apartment she rents in Winchester.
I was doing pretty good for a while, and then I told her I was going to be late. Give me the bucket.
That's when Davis learned from a coworker about the eviction prevention resources at Metro Housing Boston.
What we do in a nutshell is to work with families around housing stability, economic security, and to help improve their quality of life.
The agency serves residents in Boston and 32 surrounding communities. Chris Norris is the executive director.
In the fiscal year that just ended on June 30th, we distributed approximately $64 million just on the rental emergency assistance side, and we served 11,000 households with that. Put that into context, the year before, we served roughly 1,800 households with $5.8 million.
That money was issued to qualifying residents to help pay delinquent utilities, mortgages, and rent.
Very, very few applications are ever denied.
Metro Housing had been administering grants like these for shorter terms on a much smaller scale for 15 years before COVID-19 struck. After the pandemic hit, they had to increase their staff of 150 by 50% to accommodate the increase in need.
It wasn't meant to do what we're doing now, but we at least had that groundwork, that infrastructure available.
Complete applications take about 4 weeks to process and can be expedited if an eviction case is in court.
The key is to apply for assistance. We can't do anything unless we have an application.
The staff is then trained to help applicants find the program that best fits their needs.
What we have right now is a Band-Aid, and it's a great Band-Aid. It's a tourniquet. It's stopping the bleeding. It's allowing folks to remain stable. But to remain stable in the long term, we need housing that people can afford and ongoing rental assistance.
The housing market in the country is in crisis.
Crystal Cornegay is the executive director of Mass Housing, a quasi-public agency that provides financing for affordable housing in Massachusetts.
The most important thing is that we have not been producing housing of any kind at a pace to keep up with population growth and demographic changes.
Years of low supply and high demand have contributed to escalating home prices.
If the average home price is $400,000, $500,000, then it's hard to come up with the down payment to actually address that.
Cornegay says this has had a significant impact on people of color, first-time homebuyers, and modest-income families.
Oftentimes, when you're a young person, just got out of college, you are actually the bank of mom and dad for your family because you're at a certain income level that your parents were not.
That lack of intergenerational wealth is one of a number of barriers to home ownership, but there are programs in place to help.
Unlike regular commercial banks, we raise capital by selling bonds and then use the proceeds from those bonds to lend money to developers of multifamily properties as well as to first-time home buyers.
Those loans come with competitive interest rates and the agency's own mortgage insurance product.
If you lose your job, your principal and interest is paid for 6 months.
There's also a down payment assistance loan program.
That really does create what people like to call the bank of mom and dad, and really be able to get people to be in the marketplace.
Do a little at a time. Good girl.
Davis was approved twice for rental assistance.
It was a big relief. It's gonna put me back on top where I never thought after this, I never thought I'd be again. And I thought I'd have to rebuild or get a second or third job.
And she's able to revisit her dream that one day she might be able to enter the home ownership marketplace.
I want something to call my own and something to give to them eventually, so maybe too they would never have to worry about something like this because they would have something to call theirs.
Wow, and it's important to note that for all of the Metro Housing Boston programs, approval is not contingent on immigration status.
And if you live outside the area they serve, there is still aid available. There's a network that serves every municipality in Massachusetts. For information on that, you go to masshousinginfo.org, and that will direct you to that aid.
All right. Next up, a Mattapan resident taking matters into his own hands.